Welcome, beautiful people, to another beautiful day. It's another beautiful Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday, beautiful people. Wonderful Wednesday. And I appreciate being here with my beautiful, wonderful son. Son,
I'm
my
telling
shining for me. Shining, but he's shining the most because that's my son. All
I'm
right.
wearing yellow today on purpose.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead and get
So, yeah, so thank you so much for everybody for watching. Thank you for listening. And it was really cool to come back last week and get a new episode going for a new season. And a lot of people, I don't know about you, Pops, but a lot of people were excited when I told them that we recorded a new episode and we put it out there. And people were like, wait, it's back? I'm like, I didn't know if it was that serious. Oh, you got real dark.
sorry.
Censor, you got the censor. But no, like I was saying, thank you all for listening and tuning in. And this is something that we do for you. The person that's watching this, the person that's clearly making sure that when we're in the dark, you can see us. No, but no, this is for you, the viewer, that you get something out of this, hopefully. And I don't know if I don't know if I told you this, Pops, but a friend of mine, she got a chance to listen to it, and she played it in the car with her son. And she was saying that she hoped that he really got something out of it. And I'm like, look, you sharing that with him and then telling me about how you shared it with him is like, that's dope to me already. So like, if he
Yeah.
gets something out of it, cool. If he heard it, that's all I could ask for. So that was pretty dope of her to share that with, because she could have been like, oh, listen to it with my son, and it never said anything to me. But
Right. Right.
that's pretty dope. So that was cool. I just hope he doesn't trash it, because then I'll feel bad. I'll be like, dang, no, that's not true. That's not how my brain works. Anyways, getting into this episode today, we are talking about leading a horse to water. And full transparency, because I feel like that's just kind of how we roll. That's what we're about. I have my notes here on my iPad. So when you see me looking down, I know you already know this, Pops, but any of you that see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I'm not perfect and I forget stuff.
Yeah.
So I write notes. So just again, being transparent, and it's okay to do those types of things to give yourself that little bit of an edge to help you get through whatever it is you need to get through. But the topic at hand is not that. The topic at hand today is leading a horse to water. So again, this comes from one of my dad's Instagram videos. This was yesterday's, right? Yeah, it was yesterday's. Where he talked about leading a horse to water. So, Pops, I'm gonna let you jump on that first because you brought up the topic, and I'm just bringing it to the world right now through this video. What is leading a horse to water mean to you? I guess we could say. What does that mean to you?
It means like showing somebody how to do something, or trying to make it easier for them. Um,
Oh, let me just interrupt you real quick. Just make sure I said this the right way. I said lead a horse to water, but the full saying is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So that's what we're talking about.
yeah,
But yes, Pops, go ahead, do your thing. My bad.
yeah, because that's what it is. Like they saying, like you can lead that horse to water. That and just in that, that's a good portrayal of that, because you can actually see somebody walking the horse to water,
Yeah,
and that horse just standing there, probably thirsty as heck, but you can actually visualize that. So that's a good expression right there,
yeah,
because that's in that you can teach anybody anything. You can show anybody, or you can be like, hey man, this would be way easier if you do it this way, and
yes.
still refuse to do it because they want to do it their own way. And you have to accept that. You, the person saying that, you don't have to, but in that expression, you have to accept that. But
Right.
and it's just like, I don't know. It just came to me because I don't know. There's so many things that I'm like, oh, I'll be trying to help so many people and
Yes.
trying to teach or show, or not even teach. I don't want to be teachy, but just be like, man, this would be easier if you do it this way. And
Right.
in life, and I'm like, man, this could be way easier if you do it this way. But they they still going with with doing
Yeah.
it the way they want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, I would say, like, what does it mean to, like, the saying itself, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I mean, it makes me think of a lot of different situations when I was teaching. So for those that don't know, I used to be a teacher and I'm no longer a teacher. I feel like I say it like once every episode. But I used to teach, and when I was teaching, actually before I was teaching, I had a teacher who was like my mentor teacher while in student teaching, and she was phenomenal. One of the things that she told me was, she was like, "Are you ever heard of the Titanic?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "So in the Titanic, you know that they didn't have enough lifeboats." I was like, "Right." She was like, "So people were on lifeboats and things like that, and we tried to save as many people as they could, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "So let's say that you were on the Titanic," and I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "Titanic goes down, you're on the lifeboat, you are, she's like, the person that you are, the second you get on a lifeboat, if you're the only person on that lifeboat, what are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Try to save as many people as I can." She was like, "And that's how your brain works, and I love that about you, and that's what makes you a great person." She was like, "However, what if you see a person that is swimming and like they're thrashing and they're kicking or whatever in the water? What do you do?" I'm like, "I mean, I try to save them." She's like, "How?" I was like, "I mean, I reach in." She's like, "They're gonna pull you in and they're gonna try to get on the boat and capsize. They're all bad things that happen." And I'm like, "That's fair. Yeah, that's true." She's like, "Now, what about a person who's just kind of like wading in the water and they're trying to get to your boat and they're just like, casually doing their thing? What do you do?" I'm like, "Same thing. I try to help them." She's like, "Who's more likely to actually get the help and appreciate it?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." She's like, "Now, last example. What if you see a body floating in the water? Just, you clearly they're dead. What do you do?" And I'm like, "I mean, I might poke them with the oar or something to see if they're dead." She
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." And then what about after that? I was like, "I mean, I got to move on." She was like, "You got to move on." She's like, "Those are three different types of people, three different types of students that you're going to engage as a teacher. You got to know who to help and how to help them." And I'm like, "Dang, that's
Mhm.
deep. That's deep." She hit me. And I had that my entire teaching career. And I continue to think that way to this day. So when you said the lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, it made me instantly think of that analogy she had with the Titanic because they're so similar, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I would say what it means to me is that I can't help everybody and I want to help
Right.
everybody. But I
Right.
know I can't. I know I can't. I'm going to offer help to every single person
Right.
possible.
Right.
If that person accepts it, it's on them. It's not my responsibility for them to accept the help that I'm offering. Or even sometimes it's not even on it's not sometimes it's not even on me to even say anything. Sometimes I gotta know when not to say anything because I know it could
Yeah.
blow up and they can get mad at me and well, who do you think you are? I'm like, "Okay, I was
Right.
just trying to help you out." I was just, like the perfect example when I was talking to you on the phone, something that other people don't know, that y'all gonna hear the story now. When I called you after the one girl was trying to parallel park her car, do you remember
Yeah.
that? Right?
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, I'm gonna try to give the quick version because y'all know I love telling stories by this point. Um, I had just gotten done filming something. I go to my car. We're parked in the city in Columbus, parallel parking everywhere. I see this woman and she's trying to parallel park her car and she's struggling. Like the spot is huge. She could fit in it no problem really easily. She's struggling. And so I see her struggling. Her friends are trying to help her. Her friends are not helpful. Like you can tell they can't parallel park very well either. Like just by the directions they were giving. And I was like, "Hey, this is really easy to do if you do it in like two moves. Let me just help you with that." She's like, "You know what? This is too much. This is too much. I'm just gonna park around the corner." And I'm like, "Okay." That was the situation. Honestly, I should
Yeah.
have read the situation better and been like, "Just let her struggle.
Yeah.
Just, just let the horse stand there and stare at the water thirsty.
Right. Right.
Just, just let her struggle." I
Yeah.
didn't, and I don't regret it because she could have been like, "Oh my gosh, thank you," but I'm also like, I should have just let her struggle.
Yeah.
So I think it's just all about being able to be comfortable, letting people do them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. That's a good point right there. Letting people do them because you can. It's just you're because I feel like that's a good expression right there because I'm
Hmm.
by saying something that I can help. That's me, the helper.
Yes.
I don't have to do anything else to extra if they say yay or nay. It's on
Right.
me. So, and then if they say nay, all right, well, I just offer it and move on. But sometimes it's just hard to see people struggle. That's the hard
It
part, right?
is
But it
with
is.
this face, like.
And sometimes I'll be like, hold on, just stand right there, and let me do this for you. All right. It's just like I can't help it, but I don't know what they call that, but they do have different names for stuff. But it's like I can do this for you, or I can, or I can show you how to do it real. Just come on,
Yes.
let me do that for you. Let me do
Yes.
that. Right. Man.
I so that's something that I obviously get honestly. But on the flip side of that, two things that come to mind. One is just knowing, I kind of already touched on this, but like knowing when to ask somebody if they need help. Knowing
Right.
when is one thing. Because I know personally for myself, like when I was early in my teaching careers, I don't just keeps coming up. I kind of felt like I needed to work through some stuff and
Mhm.
just kind of struggle on my own. But I
Yeah.
also let it be known, like, hey, I kind of like to struggle through some things. If you see me struggling to the point to where it's like not workable, then intercede. Let me know, like, hey, you're doing this and you could be doing this a lot better. Like that's one thing. But like if
Yeah.
you see me like struggling and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of trying to figure it out. I'm kind of working my way through it. Let me do my thing. That's a little bit different. The other thing on that is this is a show. Preface. This is a show that does not have swearing on it. So this is not a swear word I'm about to say. I'm looking right in the camera. This is not a swear word that I'm about. Hold on, let me get the light. I'm not about to swear. This word describes people who will ask you for advice and then completely disregard your advice and just do something totally off the wall different, right? The
Right.
word is ask whole. Ask
Right.
whole. Just so
Right.
y'all know, it's related to a swear word, but it's
Yeah.
not the swear word. And an example of that for anybody that might need one is like, let's say for instance, I asked my dad, I'm like, "Hey, yo, pops," which I don't know if y'all knew this, but behind him, that man has so many bikes and just all of the wonderful bike equipment because he is a cyclist. If I'm like, "Hey, yo, pops," I'm looking to replace, the brakes and my chain on my bike. Oh, it just gave me a thumbs up. I didn't know I could do that.
Right.
I'm looking to replace the brakes and the chain on my bike, as well as get a new pair of gloves for cycling. And he's like, "All right, you should get this, and this would be pretty good too. Try those out. Let me know what you think." And I'll be like, "All right, cool." And instead, I get like the worst possible brand I could
Right.
possibly get, and don't take his advice in the slightest. That
Right.
is an
Right.
ask hole.
Right.
Like, don't be
Right.
that person. Like, hey, I want like this is something that I know happens with buddies of mine and in sitcoms too that are married. Hey babe, should I go with the blue one or should I go with the green one? Be like, oh babe, I really like the green one looks great on you. Do that one. That looks beautiful. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with this one instead. Why you
Right.
ask me? Why you ask me this question?
Right.
Why
Right.
like what was the point in that? Were you asking me because you're like whatever one he picks, I'm gonna go the opposite? Like, why would you do that? Don't be an ask
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah. And that's what are you thinking of my opinion? Or you take my opinion for.
Mm-hmm. And the more you do that with people, what I've found is the more people do it, the less likely people are going to want to help you
Right.
or give
Right.
you advice for that matter. So, like, if I keep coming to you with advice about, asking you advice about cycling and bikes and stuff like that, and I keep never taking your advice, you're gonna be like, dude, why are you asking me?
Right.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
like, why you asking me?
Yeah.
What's the point? If that husband keeps getting asked, hey, which dress should I wear? Which shirt should I wear? And you keep going against what he's saying, he's not gonna want to. Like, why are you asking me? And it's gonna cause another problem. Like, you never want to help me with my stuff. Every time I help you, it's a problem. Why?
Right.
Why? Don't even do that to yourself.
Right. Right.
Don't even do it.
Right. Yeah.
So another part of this is again, I'm looking at my notes for people that need to know. Is how do you know like what that limit is? Like you personally, pops. Like when you are talking to somebody and about going back to leading a horse to water but not making it drink. What would you say is like your limit or your threshold to helping somebody and then realizing you got to that point where like you gotta let them go?
Yeah. With with most of it, it depends on our relationship. Like
Mm,
like from close friend, work friend to all the way to best friend to wife and stuff like that and son
yeah.
and depends on the relationship, but for the most part, it depends on most people's attention to what
Mm.
they're talking to about it.
You
And you can
said you said most people's attention and what you were breaking up just a little bit.
oh okay, it depends on how most people's how they're paying attention to what you're saying, and
Yeah.
they're because you could well no matter what you can read people's body
Mm.
their physicalities and what they're doing and stuff like that. And so I kind of read that, and if
Yeah.
you're not interested, or and like you say, there are the ask holes where they're like really interested, and but so it's just reading their reactions, and giving them at least like one, two, three strikes that year out, type thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
in that. But for the most part, it's just reading people's body language, and
Right.
that's a lot of body language, and just like I said, just if how many times I ask or try to help them, and I'll do that. Or in my job, I might see a person one time, and like I said, it just depends on their response. A lot of it is their response. So it can be body
Yeah.
language response to what I'm saying to them.
Right.
So and
Right.
and a lot of people like to talk, but they act. A lot of people don't act like they like to talk, but people like to talk, and then
Yeah.
you get to talk, and you can read from what they're saying, how interested they're in things, and so I have to read that in a lot of people. So it's like, what am I trying to say? It's just figuring people out, just looking at people, how genuine they are. You can see genuine
Mm.
how genuine people are. That's what
Yeah.
it is. People don't realize how you can see that how genuine they are. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that even though everybody's different, you can see that in people. And if you're giving them information and they're like sucking it in, like, wow, this is really great, man. I really appreciate you doing this for me. You know, I'm gonna go do this right now. Type
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And that feeds into me too, because it makes me want to help even more. Like, all right, I
Yep.
appreciate it. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So, and then now I keep that rhythm going on to the next person that I talk to.
Yep.
So, all right, I'm gonna keep this rhythm going because I know it helps, and I know it
Yeah.
helps. So maybe it'll help this person, in
Mhm.
type of situation. So I keep trying to push into that. So but that's where I like that leading the horse to water. When people are you see that excitement in them, that's like them drinking. So it's like,
Yeah. That's a
you
good
know,
way to put that.
drinking it, just sucking it in. So it's like, all right, you appreciate that. So all right, I got more water for you if you want some more water,
Yeah.
or if you know anybody else that needs some water, come help me out.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I so I'll say no, I love that insight because it's very straightforward, and I would say like kind of coming from my thought process about like where your limit is, it's where your boundaries are. Like some people they struggle with setting a boundary for
Yeah,
themselves in a lot of different ways, not just this. But
yeah,
I think it's setting that boundary of letting somebody know, like, or not even letting them know, but letting yourself know, like, all right, this person came to me for advice. They didn't really take my advice, which it's neither here nor there, whatever.
right,
But they got two more times before I'm just like, I'm done, bro. And you got to be honest with yourself about that. And you got to be, to your point, genuine. Like, is this really worth cutting off? Or, excuse me, is this really worth continuing, right? you
yeah,
you got to know that boundary yourself. So I think it's definitely, you like you were saying, it's very personal, based upon like personal meaning like each individual person.
hmm
And then it's also based on your relationship. That's, I think that's really important, because the grace that I'm willing to give like you or my girlfriend or my mom or other people is different than like the grace that I'm willing to give a person, to like you just said in your job. Like if a person I just met off the street is going to get a different, they're going to get a different level of grace in that. um Sometimes it's the opposite in terms of where people might think. Like I might give a person that I just met more grace because I
right,
don't know them than
right,
I would like my sister, who I do know, because I know, all right, I already have an experience with her. I know where she's at, versus this
right,
person I don't know. I like, they might be, this might just be like kind of how they always are. I don't know that. Or it
right,
might be they might just be having a really bad day. I don't know. So I can
right,
give them potentially more grace because I
right,
don't know where their threat. It's almost like figuring out where it is with like for instance with you, I know where that threshold is. But with
yeah,
somebody else, I don't know. So I'm figuring it out the more I get to know them.
right.
So it's definitely a case by case, relationship by relationship basis. It's also, where are you in your like bandwidth, so to speak, for the day? Like you might be like, man, I am exhausted. Or you might be like, man, I've talked to so many people that just made me so irritated today that you get to a person that genuinely is listening and hearing you and you're like, I can't even do it. I'm
Right.
sorry. I want to be there for you. I want to help you. Hit me up tomorrow. Can't
Yeah.
even do it. That happens too. So I think your threshold is based on you, your relationships, your circumstances, where you are, and what you're willing to deal with. Setting boundaries though is very important in that because
Yeah.
if you're a person that people, I don't want to say people have access to, but want access to,
Right.
then you really got to set that limit.
Yeah.
Like even just I mean, I'm not a high level executive person, but or even here's a better example. I know some friends of mine that some friends and some people that I've known are in the military. In the military, the general doesn't have direct contact with privates
Right.
on purpose,
Right.
like not supposed to.
Right.
If they see each other in passing or something, I don't know how that works, but I'm sure I mean, that's fine. Like,
Walking.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
If
and
you
keep it moving.
tell him, you'll talk to him for a short second, but it's
Right.
strict military, but it's nothing, no deep conversation.
No, no. And if it is, you are lucky as a private, right?
Yeah.
Like the point is, so the reason I bring it up is because I mean, in the military, there's feel how you want to feel about it. It's just a good example for what I'm bringing up. In the military, there's a hierarchy, and you have to talk like this person talks to these people. These
Hmm.
people talk to these people.
Yeah.
These people talk to the like, and it just keeps like
Yeah.
like, and it goes down from one thing to the other. So for those that are listening, I just sometimes I forget that we also have podcast listeners. For those that are listening, the general will talk to, and correct me, please correct me if I'm wrong, pops, because I know that you know better than I do. But the general will talk to lieutenants,
It's more like colonels.
colonels. Okay, so it'll go general to colonel to the next level to the next level to the next, and just keeps going downhill. Right?
Yeah.
So generals are not going to have a conversation with people that are privates for the simple fact that it is, no offense to anybody, a waste of their time. And to
Right.
be honest, it's a waste of the private's time too,
Right.
because they're not going to be able to pass that information up the way they really want to. Like
Right.
it doesn't make sense because they're not. They might even be working on the same things in some senses. Maybe
Yeah.
working on totally different parts of an entire project. So it's like
Yeah.
the point of that is just knowing your threshold and knowing who and when to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is it. Yeah. Yeah. And knowing you got to be critical of yourself too, because you got
mm,
to take on both sides of that. Leading the horse to water. You some people can be real critical and be like,
yeah,
man, leave me alone.
yeah,
or there's so many ways to be critical in that situation. You're trying to help somebody out, and
for sure.
they don't want to they don't want to hear it, or they don't want the help. Or
Nope.
they'll appreciate it, but I'm gonna still do my thing. But
Yeah,
like I'm gonna just come back around and be like, all right, well, that's why you just all right. I said what I said, and I'm not gonna pressure you about it. Go ahead and do your thing.
yep. Do you?
And
Yes,
I'm gonna be honest. In certain situations, I'm a gentleman, so if I see a woman struggling, it's hard for me not to try to do something. It's not.
I'm so happy you bring that up because I didn't even think to bring it up,
It's
but
hard for
there
me.
are situations
Yeah.
where things happen, and you and I are from different generations, so you have seen and see different things than I do.
Hmm.
And so like for instance, the situation I mentioned with the lady parallel parking.
Yeah.
Part of me didn't want to help her because I'm like, it's really none of my business. Not really. But
Right.
part of me was like, she's struggling. Like, and I wasn't gonna get in the car and do it for her. That's not what I was gonna do. I was like, look, I literally was like, there's two turns you have to do to help you do this. And I just
Right.
wanted to just this. It was gonna be easy, straightforward. But
Right.
she pushed back, and I was like, can't help you because you don't want me to, and that's fine.
Right.
But
Right.
the other thing with like women of my generation and surrounding my generation is like at the gym. I don't talk to anybody at the gym when I go to
Right.
the gym.
Like
The
it's
only thing I say at the gym is, "Hey, yo, you using that? No, okay, bad, thanks." Or if somebody comes up to me and I'm like, "Hey, I got two more. I got two more." Like I don't say nothing to nobody unless I already know that person. I don't
right.
talk to you because there's so many things nowadays that if I'm like, if I go up and talk to a girl like, hey, how are you? That could be misconstrued in so many ridiculous ways. It is insane. Now, I'm
Right.
not saying that I'm fighting against like any woman's safety. I want people to feel safe. But there's a limit to like I said hello and you got me kicked out the gym.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's a real thing that sadly happens. On the
Yeah.
flip side of that, I understand that some women like have been that hello is how it started and it went really bad after that.
Right.
I
Right.
hear you. Um, I just said hello, and I don't even do that. I just walk past people at the gym. So as much, even if I see people struggling at the gym with like lifting something, I am by no means a gym expert trainer or anything, but I've been involved in athletics for a large part of my life, so I know how to bench press, squat with the right
Right.
form and stuff like that. I I'm sorry, I'm gonna watch you get hurt. I as much as I want to help, I also
Right.
want to gotta protect myself.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't like I'm gonna let the horse see the water. I'm not gonna lead it to it at that point. The
Right.
water is right there. I mean like I'm like it's over.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. So there's plenty of situations to know the limit there. There's plenty of situations that it's hard to know the limit. It's just kind of feeling it out and relationships is one point that you said and knowing your own boundary is another thing. So feel like we're getting to a point to where this is like naturally like coming to a close in our conversation. It's slowly wrapping itself up. So is there anything else you wanted to add on to that though?
Yeah. Well, it's just like you said, knowing your boundaries. You don't want to be too helper if whatever you're leading that person to or trying to do for that person. Uh,
Hmm.
and like I said, you don't want nobody using you in that situation.
Yeah,
Opposites of that spectrum. Somebody
yeah,
know that you like helping, you like fishing, so you'll put every worm on the hook. If
yes,
and people use you for that. Oh, I ain't got to
yeah,
still put it on every hook. So
exactly, yeah,
but you gotta, like you said, just know your boundaries and watch yourself, and just that's the only thing I got. That's the last thing I got for that. Yeah, because that's what I
yeah.
was thinking. Just
No,
know
I
your
like
know
Yeah,
your
no, I like that at the end how you wrap that up and you said like just how like somebody will like for your analogy of I know when he likes to when we fish he always likes to put the worms on the hooks. I know I don't have to do that because he'll do it. No, I like that because it's applicable to so many things. And there's one particular person in my brain that I know that has been that person that people did take advantage of because they were always willing to help and be that person that leads the person directly to water and puts the horse's mouth in the water and somehow it still doesn't drink. So we're gonna leave that person out there because we love them dearly.
yes.
Um, but yeah, no, I feel like if you feel like that was one of the last words you wanted to share, I'm good on everything. I feel like we could wrap up.
All right, that's cool. I appreciate your notes. I do like that.
I got you.
I
For those that
accept.
can't see, I'm finger shooting.
I accept that water. Give me that water. Take them
Listen, let me go ahead. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get you some.
notes.
Some water. This is water, everybody. Give me some water.
Hell yeah, yeah. I do appreciate that, man. It's just taking an analogy, just listening and thinking about just with this is just thinking about a real life analogy. And leading a horse to water is a real life analogy because
Yeah.
people, and some people like okay. For one last thing, some people don't know they want the help. That's that
Mm,
you don't want to force it, but like you gotta be like, come on, man. You
yeah.
know who I am or what type of person I am. I'm not being an asshole or anything. Let me help you out, bro.
Yeah. You're not being pushy, but you kind
Yeah,
of almost have to be
yeah, but you still,
because the person needs that help. But yeah. But that's also, again, to your point, that's knowing the relationship between you and that person.
yeah,
Like I would never do that with a random stranger because I don't know them. But I would
right,
do that with I would do that with myself. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need to do that for you. But I would also do that with like my buddy James. I know if I see that he hasn't worked out today, because that dude loves to be in the gym, I'd be like, hey man, you all right? He'd be like, nah, man, I was in the hospital the other day. I'm not feeling too well. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But if he's like, yeah, I'm just kind of chilling today, I'd be like, bro, it's Thursday. Like, you work out every third. What you talking about? Like, why are you not doing this? So it's like staying on the person, but then also, giving them the advice they need. I'd be like, well, I advise you to get in the gym. But I wouldn't do that for some random person. So,
Right, right, right. Yeah. All right. I think that's about it. We can try and lead the horses to water, but
can't make a drink.
make them drink.
Can't,
But we can push the positivity though. All
yes.
positivity.
Yes. Always. Always.
All right.
Well,
But everybody stay pimping. Positive influence, motivate my people. Oh,
love
yeah.
it. It's always good. Pimpin', pimpin', pimpin'. Pimpin' since been pimpin'.
Definitely. I don't know what made me come up with that, but I do love that pimping. Yeah.
Well, in that moment, you had told me before, like a while ago, when you came up with it, that there's like an analogy for so many different, or not analogy, but an acronym for so many things. And pimping makes sense because you care about people. So positive influence, motivating my people. So you care about people because everybody to you is your people, is what you said. We're your positivity ambassador. Both of us are. So thank you all for watching and continuing to, at the very least, support two positivity ambassadors. Um, and just kind of keeping that going. But yeah, like you always wrap up, positive, pimping, uh, positive influence, motivating my people. You are my people, and yeah, I'm gonna let you finish wrapping up, man.
Yeah.
That's your wrap up.
Well, yes. And just stay, keep living and loving life, people. All right.
Yes, yes. Love y'all. Thank y'all so much. And as always, we always say,
Peace.
peace.